I think Kirby Smart is in the middle of doing something pretty historic as it relates to college football coaches all time. The guy has only been coaching at Georgia for 8 years, and I think he's already getting close to that top echelon of college football coaches all time. I think he's up there with some of the greats already and has maybe passed, already in 8 years, some of the best college football coaches of all time. That's what I'm going to talk about in today's video because I don't think people understand the trajectory that Kirby Smart is on. If he continues to build this program a little bit more and more each year through 8 years, he's 94-16. 94-16. It's tough to find a coach in college football history who is off to a better start in 8 years than Kirby Smart is at Georgia. He'll be 48 this upcoming season, turned 48 back in December. He's 9-2 in bowl games, 5-1 in the college football playoff, 2 national championships, 2 SEC championships, 6 SEC East titles, which will look cool down the road because obviously there's no divisions anymore. 3-time SEC Coach of the Year. So in my opinion, you might be different, but in my opinion, there's only several head coaches who have enough wins and national titles to be considered still a decent, way ahead of Kirby Smart, right? You've got Nick Saban, greatest college football coach of all time, 292 wins, 7 titles. Right after him is Bear Bryant, 323 wins. So, up there, he's got 300 plus wins, obviously. Only 6 titles. That's the reason I put him behind Nick Saban. Bobby Bowden is ahead of Kirby Smart, obviously. 377 wins, 2 national titles. In my opinion, Woody Hayes, what he did at Ohio State, he's got 238 total wins, 5 national titles. And then I'd say Tom Osborne with his 255 wins, 3 national titles. He's ahead of Kirby Smart too right now, but he is in the same level, I think, as guys like Mac Brown, Frank Beamer, Urban Meyer, Lou Holtz, Bo Schembechler, Jim Tressel, Steve Spurrier, Vince Dooley. I think he's passed most of those guys already, and that's going to trigger a lot of people. Tennessee fans, Philip Fulmer may have more wins. I didn't even include him on my list because I honestly didn't even think about him. He's got the 1 national title. Kirby is ahead of Philip Fulmer. Steve Spurrier is a great college football coach. From Duke to Florida to rebuilding South Carolina and making them relevant again, beating Clemson. But what he did at Florida was a big deal. But in total, he had 228 wins. So he's got that 200 wins. He's got 1 title. Kirby's has 130 less wins, but he's gotten that 2 national titles compared to Steve's 1. So as far as if we're ranking greatest college football coaches of all time, right? Just the offseason discussion that we're having right now, where does wins go against national titles? Now, eventually, if Kirby coaches 8 more years, right, and doubles his win total, even gets close to that 200, maybe 2 more national titles, then he is in the elite of the elite. If he gets to that special, in my opinion, 200 win club, which is, the guy's almost in the College Football Hall of Fame if he retired today for back-to-back titles. And what he did at Alabama is on the resume. That's going to be talked about when he does end up in the College Football Hall of Fame one day, is helping turn Alabama back into the dynasty under Nick. But he's turned Georgia into a machine right now, and eventually, I'd be surprised if he did not get to 200, 250 wins as a coach at Georgia with at least 2 more national titles. But is he above Urban Meyer, who's got 3 national titles and 187 wins? So he's got almost twice as many wins as Kirby does, but he coached longer, and he's got 3 national titles. Kirby's right there with Urban Meyer and passing him. Frank Brown has 280 wins, no national titles. Frank Beamer. Kirby is above Frank Beamer. Way less national wins, but he's got 2 national titles, which that's the main fact, right? That's the main variable that goes into play when we're talking about anything. Greatest player, greatest coach, yada, yada, yada. Well, how many championships did he win? Kirby's got 2. A lot of these guys, Mac Brown has 1, but he's got 282 wins. Right now, I'm not sure Kirby is above Mac Brown all time, but when Mac Brown retires soon and Kirby gets to 200 wins, his 2 titles alone might push him over. So you know what I mean? So a lot of this is just conversation. Me just talking for 10 minutes about where Kirby Smart stands right now among the greatest college football coaches of all time. Because eventually, When he's done at Georgia, I think he will pass guys like Tom Osborne. Even that might be crazy to sound because he, I think, won 3 out of 4 at Nebraska in the 90s. But Kirby's got a chance to pass him. Woody Hayes. Bobby Bowden has 2 national titles. If Kirby wins 2 more, I mean, he's not going to get to 377 wins. But how many would it take to pass Bobby Bowden if you have another 1 or 2 national titles? If you have 3 more than Bobby Bowden, then yeah, you just have to get to probably 200 wins, and you'll pass Bobby Bowden, and even though he's got 377, which is crazy. Vince Dooley has 201 wins, so he's in that 200 category. People love Vince Dooley, as they should. He's done a lot for the Georgia Bulldog University football program, athletic department. He's a Georgia Bulldog for life, and he's got 200 wins, and he's got a national title. So he's done his part, and he is looked at as one of the greatest coaches, for sure in the SEC. But I think across college football too. And this conversation is really about the big time college football coaches in the last 80 years. I don't know if Kirby Smart is a better coach than Pop Warner, right? And I think Eddie Robinson, I know what he did at Grambling. He's like second. I'm not even talking about Joe Paterno because 2 national titles, all those wins, a lot were vacated. Probably the national titles should be 2. So Kirby Smart, I'll say it to trigger the Penn State fans. Kirby Smart is a greater all-time coach than Joe Paterno. Mainly because of the mess and the vacated titles. Kirby's not going to get his vacated that I'm aware of, that I know of. He's got this program running. They are a machine. And 94-16 is a big time start for anyone through their first 8 years. And again, if he coaches till he's 60, that would be another 13 years. And he would definitely get over 200 wins at that point for sure. You mix in a couple of national titles, gets them to 16 wins, maybe 17 wins, if the math is correct. And moving forward, if you go have a 17-0 season, so there's, now more than ever, you can rack up more wins. I mean, Georgia should win at least 10 games every year for the foreseeable future with, the regular conference games and a possible SEC championship and a couple appearances if you make it into the playoffs. So they're going to get 10 wins just about every year for a long, long time. So, yeah, Kirby's going to get up there and pass a lot of these guys. And I do think that when his time has come to an end, he will be considered one of the very, very best, greatest college football coaches of all time. And he's sitting in a great spot, and he's rolling right now. But I think Brian Kelly could be in the conversation if he wins a couple national titles at LSU. He's got a ton of wins, no national titles. That's something he needs. Lou Holtz had 249 wins, 1 national title. This Kirby's 2. I'll rank him, even though he doesn't have the longevity. Jim Tressel, 229 wins, 1 title. Let's see. Bo Schembechler, 234 wins, 0 titles. So he's got a lot of wins, 0 titles. I think Kirby's probably passed him with his 2 alone. But, is that crazy to say? How do you look at it? How do you rank the greatest coaches of all time? Is it with longevity, overall wins? Is it national championships the number 1 factor, the determining factor? How much does that outweigh the other? Just being a good coach, consistency, I think is key as well, and Kirby's obviously had that going on as well. I mean, they're very, very good every single year, and they're going to be really, really good every single year. We have a lot of these conversations over on Dawg Post. You can sign up to our free newsletter. That link is down below, but I do think he's on a historic path. There's no doubt about it. I have no problem saying that, and if he keeps it up, he's going to make me look very smart, and I think a lot of Georgia fans agree, too, because they're not... I mean, there's still a program on the rise. As crazy as that sounds, with 2 out of 3 national championships, there is no ceiling to this program. So Kirby can be as good as he wants, and he can build this program as big and as powerful as he wants. He's just got to continue to do what he's doing. And they're going to be in the hunt for national championship every single year, and they will be next year. Make sure you join us for the ride over on Dawg Post. We got free stories. We got recruiting stories. A bunch of them over there on the site right now. Make sure you're checking all of that out. Recruiting season for me right now, things are going to get a little slow, but it'll pick back up for sure. And we hope y'all are there. We really appreciate y'all watching these videos for sure. Sometimes it can be tough to stay in that college football mindset, but y'all are the 5-star Georgia fans. If you're watching these videos every day, in January, February. We really appreciate it. Y'all are the best fans out there. You're also the smartest Georgia fans out there as well. If y'all are consistent listeners to this channel, thank you so much. Make sure you're a Dawg Post member. Go sign up right now, and I hope to see you over on the website.